Okay, hello. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the next in the intermediate series for SEDA College Online. I hope everyone here is having a good week, and we appreciate that you take some time to join us today for another lesson. Take a moment, get your headphones or laptop set up, your computer in a good position, because we are going to be in for a very interesting lesson today, covering all about articles. So let's begin. As I said, we're going to be talking all about articles today, and so articles is kind of the part of speech words. So, you have nouns, verbs, adjectives. You also have articles. Those are a, an, and the. So we're going to talk all about those today. What are the rules? How do we use them? And in what kinds of situations? We're also going to talk vocabulary and look at collocations with prepositions. Um, don't worry if you've never seen the word collocation before. We'll talk about what that is when it is time. And then we do have a little bit of pronunciation at the very end, and that is focusing on pronunciation for the. There's some interesting rules there on how it works and what to do with your tongue and mouth. So we're going to talk a lot about that as well. Okay, so let's get going and start with articles. So grammar concept first, though. So there's a particular concept with these articles that I want to make clear because I'm going to talk about it again and again as I talk about what the articles do. And so the grammar concept is something called definiteness or definite. So if something is definite or indefinite. So if something is definite, it is something that is certain, something that is clear and identifiable. If you know, like the expression definitely, that adverb has that idea. I say, oh, is it raining outside? Oh, definitely. It is clear, it is certain. On the other hand, there's indefinite. So that's just the opposite. It's something that's not clear, something that is not identifiable, or something that is not certain, or I'm unsure. Um, these two ideas are very important because they are what we talk about for the difference between the two articles, and you'll see how in a moment. But just to help make this concept more clear. So in most of the English-speaking world, so I'm thinking Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, Ireland, in all of these countries, if you say the Queen, it is talking about one specific person, the Queen of England. I do not need this. I can simply say the Queen, and everyone knows. This idea is definite. It is certain. We all know. On the other hand, if I say a queen, it can be any. It can be the Queen of Norway. It could be the Queen of Denmark, or a queen from a video game, or a book, or a story, or a movie. I don't know. And so that's an indefinite example. So that's kind of the difference here. The queen is your definite idea, where a queen is your indefinite idea. The queen is certain, clear. I am sure I know exactly what you are talking about, whereas a queen is indefinite. I'm not certain. It could be anyone or anything, or any queen. So I'm not so certain. So now let's take that idea to the articles specifically, and I will start with a or an. They're really the same article. So, grammar. The a and an are the indefinite article used with a singular countable noun. So that's kind of the grammar rule for it. It means it is used to say one of a group that is unclear, uncertain. So the form is somewhat simple. We use a if the noun has a consonant at the beginning, or an if the noun has a vowel sound at the beginning. Make sure that you notice I use the word sound, not spelling, because that's what's most important here. We match them based on the sound of the word, not the spelling of the word. And I have an example in a moment to show that. So, examples. A dog. If I say a dog, I mean one dog. Clearly, it is one dog, but it could be any dog in the world. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. It's just a dog. An airplane. So here we have the vowel difference. Consonant D, so we use A. A vowel sound, a, air. So an. And so, and again, an airplane could be any airplane. I just say, and one of all of the airplanes in the world. Or I can say an honorable man. Here I use this example to show the spelling. It does begin with a consonant, and we still use an. And this is because the pronunciation is a vowel sound. Honorable. So be very careful that you are using the vowel sound, not the spelling, because the spelling is not always helpful. Or you can say something like this. What do you do? Oh, well, I'm a teacher. There we have a general expression. I am of all of the teachers, I am one. So these are kind of examples of how this works. But these are somewhat vague. So I have tried to make this more clear with like common situations. When is it most normal or natural to use a or to use an? So normally, if it is the first time you say something, if you are telling a story to somebody, the first time you say a thing or an idea, you use the article an. That's because it's the first time. So it's my introduction, so it is not specific. We use it when we want to talk about frequency. So for example, this one I forgot to show. On the bottom, we can get the display, the controls to go away. There we go. I have class 5 days a week. So I have 5 days a week. So for frequency, we'll use the article a. For professions, I'm a teacher. We use the article a because you are one of the whole group. And for these what expressions, and so what is a what expression? Something like, oh, what a beautiful day, or oh, what a delicious cup of coffee. Just in those kind of expressions, we will always use the indefinite article a, because it has that idea of out of all of these things, this one is special. What a beautiful day. Of all days, this one is interesting. Or what a good cup of coffee. Of all cups of coffee, this one is delicious. But so those are the common situations where we will use a and an. So let's compare that to the article the. So if a and an are the indefinite article, this is now the definite article. So we can use this one with singular or plural nouns. It's for either. And the form is very simple. The. It doesn't change. There's no other way to spell it or write it. It's always just the, used before any noun where we want the idea. So some examples of it. The neighbor's dog. So now I'm not saying a dog, any dog. I'm saying the neighbor's dog. There's only one in the world, and I'm talking about that one. Or the airplanes at the airport. This is plural now. And now I'm saying of all the airplanes, I'm talking about the group specifically at the airport. I work at the cinema. So now again, an idea of specificity, a specific idea. I work at where? Which location in the city? The cinema. I use the internet every day. There's only one internet, so I use it. So I've tried to, again, make some common situations for these to help make it a little more clear what I mean. And so you can think of these as rules when you've said the thing before. So if you are telling a story and you have mentioned an idea previously in the story, before in the story, Now we use the article because the idea is specific, the idea is clear. I'm talking about the thing that I said before. So now we're going to use the. Or when you're talking about a specific thing, like the neighbor's dog, I'm not talking about any dog, I'm talking about one specific dog. Or you'll use the when there's only one in the world. This is the internet example. So there's only one internet, so we use the internet. Or with locations in the city, like the cinema. You have all of the locations in a city, and so I'm talking about the specific place inside that city or country. Really, it can scale. Right. So those were our two options for the articles. We had a and the situations to use them. Well, it is also common in English to have no article. So there are situations where we do not want one because it is neither definite nor indefinite. So sometimes we use a noun without an article. Well, since there's no word, there's no form, there's no grammar structure because there's nothing. But I can tell you the common situations again when we will not use an article. So when you're speaking in general, never use an article because an article says either one or a specific thing. And I'm talking about a generality, general idea, general feeling, so I cannot use an article. They are logically inconsistent. You cannot put them together. When you or with some specific nouns after at or to or from. So with certain nouns, we won't use that. These are things like work, school, church, home. We don't use articles with this. We don't say the work or the home. With school and church, it depends on how you are using it, and I'll talk about that with the examples next. With meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, no articles. And with next day, last day expression. So I can say next week, next month, last week, last month, next Friday, last Saturday. With those, well, we won't use articles with that. It will always just be last and then the day, month, or year, or next and the day, month, or year. So some examples. I love to read books. So this one's general. I am not saying I love to read a book, like a book every day, or I love to read the books in my house. I'm talking about books in the world overall, just in general. Or David goes to school every day. So this is a situation where we do not have an article because it's David goes to school every day in a general idea. He does this activity every day. I can be specific. I can say David goes to the school across from the gym. And there I am trying to be specific in the city. Where is he? He goes to the school here. But if I'm speaking more generally about his activity, he goes to school, he goes to work, he goes to church, then it's a general idea, and I'm not saying the specific building. So if you do say the specific building, you can use the article here, but usually it's no article for work, school, church, or home. Another example, Phil cooked lunch yesterday. So this is a meal, no article, just always. It was Phil cooked breakfast, Phil cooked dinner. It will just be always no article. The party is planned for next week. So here we have a next expression. So not for the next week, but it's always just next week. Or I could say the party happened last month, and then just, again, just last month. No article, no nothing. All right. So let's try to practice these rules. So I'm going to show you 7 sentences from one story. So it will be one complete story. And the story will have all of the articles removed. As I show you the sentences, I want you to try to complete the gap and try to say what is the correct article for the story. So, for example, blank man walks into bar. So what articles do we need to complete that sentence? Have a think about that. Have a guess. Well, it is A and A because this is the first time that we're talking about this. So I am introducing an idea to a story. The first thing I say, nothing is specific, nothing is certain, so it's a man walks into a bar. Number 2, the next, man walks up to bar. Maybe a change here. Maybe a change, what do you think? Well, it's the. So now we've said everything before, and now we're moving to the next part of the story. So a man walks into a bar. Now the man walks up to the bar because I have said both now. I have kind of created the idea, a man, a bar, and now I'm talking about those two specifically. And so the next part of the story, he asks bartender for drink and some crisps. Oh, what do we do here? Is it a specific bartender? Is it a specific drink? Well, yes and no. So he asks the bartender for a drink and some crisps because, again, the bartender was said, well, there's only, not what was said before, but there's only one. You go into a bar, you're inside the bar, there's only one bartender. So the bartender there. And a drink, because now it's the first time I mentioned the drink. This is the first time, so I need to introduce the idea with a. All right, so next step of the story, man asks if there is any interesting news today. Well, I think you can continue the idea. We have the same rule as up here. So it's the same man, so I keep the article the because it's the same person, a specific person. Longer sentence now, more options. So, blank bartender says, City Council plans to host We Love Flowers Festival to celebrate spring next year. 4 choices here. We have a bartender, City Council, festival, and next year. Have your guesses? Okay, well, there's many choices here. So we have the bartender says the city council plans to host a We Love Flowers festival to celebrate spring next year. No article. So why for each of these? So for the bartender, it's specific. We're going back to the same bartender. As I said, there's only one bartender usually in a bar. Okay, yes, some bars will have 2 or 3 bartenders, and you can say a bartender. My story has the idea of a pub where you have one person working the bar. If you have multiple, yes, you can say he walks up to a bartender and asks for a drink. That's fine. But in this case, we've got only one. It's a pub, and so the bartender says, "The city council." And this is an idea that there's only one. There's only one city council for a city, so we must use the definite article the. And then after this, host a festival. Yes, we say we love flowers, but that's really a description here. So it's really just to host a festival. And it's because this is the first time I say anything. This is the first time I mention the festival, so I must use a. And then finally, we have a next expression, next year. So therefore, no article because always for next expressions, we just go like spring next year. All right, so that's the first half of the story. Let's continue. What good idea, says man. What do we have here? What is the rule for those what expressions? Well, if you remember, it's always a. So what a good idea, says the man. Because here it is just the rule. What expression? A. What a good idea. What a bad idea. What a good day. And then it's the same man as before, so we continue with the because it's specific. All right. Last sentence. So, festival will give me great opportunity because I work as florist. Hmm. This one we have to think about the story. Uh, is the festival specific or general? Is the opportunity the first time, or did I say it before? And what is a florist? How would I describe the florist? So let's see. Answers are the and So the festival will give me a great opportunity because I work as a florist. So why? Well, the festival is specific now because I've mentioned it here, a festival, and now I talk about it again, so it now becomes the festival. It's a specific one I said before. And it will give me a great opportunity because this is the first time I say. I did not say the opportunity here. This is the first time I said it, so it gives me a great opportunity because I work as a florist. Now we're back to professions. And always for professions, we say, all right, well, very good. This is a very good kind of description or visual to see how the articles work within a story to say when something is new or when something is specific, when something is one, or when something is general, and how they change in the story as we continue an idea uh, inside of a narrative. Okay, so the next thing we have to talk about is that vocabulary. So as I said, we're talking about collocations for today. So what is a collocation? Well, collocation is the big grammar word, kind of grammar vocabulary for it. It's the idea that two words appear together very often, more often than you expect. If you think about statistics and math, this happens more than normal. So for example, the adjective deep and the word sleep um, compare or come together very often to make deep sleep. Of course, you can use other adjectives to describe sleep. You can say, a very, I don't know, good sleep or restful sleep. But very often an English speaker will say, oh, it was a very deep sleep, or I slept very deep last night, as a way to describe sleep. So that's it. It's just how these two words come together often. Now, what happens next is that sometimes these words come together so often that they become a kind of grammar rule that you must use them together. Because if you do not use them together, it sounds strange. It's not quite right. And these are called dependent prepositions. So yes, woo woo woo, prepositions. Everyone's favorite subject in English. So some verbs require a specific preposition after them to complete the idea. And unfortunately, I am very sorry about this, but there is no good rule, no good system to tell what preposition comes with what verb. It's just memorization. You need to kind of just learn these vocabulary words together, learn these verbs together with the preposition. So, this is another area where flashcards work very well. Write the verb and the preposition on one side and remember, or just learn them together. Don't learn them separate, but always just learn them together as one unit. So, however is best for you to memorize, but really that's the only option here. So the first one I'll talk about is to apologize to and for. So you can apologize to someone or you can apologize for something. Many of these prepositions will depend if it is a person or an object after the preposition. And you can say in one sentence, so I apologized to my mother for forgetting to clean my room. So there's my thing. So it's always apologize to the person for the thing that was the problem. The next is you can argue with someone about something. So I can argue about an idea, I can argue about a concept, and I can argue with my mother, I can argue with my sister. It always works that way. And I can argue with my sister about her idea, and we can connect them all together. Next is to ask for something. You will always always ask for something. And if you want to put a person, it would be from. So you ask for something from somebody. Usually a favor. I'll ask for a favor from my friend. I need help moving. So just it'll ask for always comes together. Another is believe in. You always believe in something or somebody. This one is the same person or idea. So you can say, I believe in, you know, I believe in, yeah, I don't know, what do I believe in? It's a big question. But maybe you could say, my mother believes in me. She thinks I will succeed. So, if it's religion or concepts or, relationships, it's always believe in. Number 5, depends on. That one's a very, very strong collocation. Depends on something, depends on somebody. It'll always be depends on. It depends on the weather. It depends on if I can get a car. It depends on whether or not I have the money. So it just always depends on whatever is next. Look forward to something. So this is the idea that I am excited. If I look forward to something, I'm excited. I want it to happen. I'm ready. Maybe it's a concert or a birthday party or a vacation. I look forward to it. And it's always look forward to. I recommend learning that just as one big 3-word verb, look forward to. And I look forward to the concert. I look forward to my vacation. I look forward to travel, whatever it is. And so to pay for and to give money. So to pay for something, or usually always a good, an object or a service, to pay for my electricity, to pay for my dinner, it'll always just be paid for. So spend time or money on something. So to spend time on something means to kind of, work on it. So you use hours to complete it. I would say I spend time every day creating lessons and planning lessons. That's how I spend my time. Or spend money. I spend money on food every day. And it's always on. For either time or money, you'll say you spend it on something. Another one is choose between something and another thing. And it will always be because choose is a choice. I want this or I want that. So you're always choosing between the two things. And then you dream about something. So it's just, whatever your dream is. I was dreaming about flying. I was dreaming about being rich. I was dreaming about, the weather. Whatever it is, you're dreaming about it. So these are 10 very common collocations. There are more. There are more verbs with dependent preposition. I chose these 10 because they're very frequent. So I recommend just learning them as these kind of set together. They always happen together. But so what now? Well, the same idea, but they can happen with adjectives. Sometimes adjectives require a preposition to complete the sentence, and when this happens, it must be a specific preposition again. So, more memorization. So I'll do the same thing. I'll show 10 examples of very common dependent prepositions with adjectives. So if I say I'm afraid, it's always of something. I'm afraid of spiders. It will always be of whatever you're afraid of. Or I'm angry with somebody. This is an example where it depends on if it's a person or an idea. because I can be angry about something. So I can be angry about the weather. I'm mad. I had a picnic for today and it rained, so I'm angry with the weather. Why did it rain? Or I can be angry with somebody. I'm angry with my mother because I don't know, she threw away some shoes that I had. So I'm angry with her about this. So it will always be angry with somebody about something. Good for. So this one is another example where it depends on the preposition changes if it's a person or a thing. So if something is good for someone, it means it is healthy, usually. So, it is good for you to eat broccoli. It is good for you to eat salad, something that's healthy. But it can also be mentally as well. It is good for you to go outside. It is good for your mind to go outside. Or you can be good at something, and this is a skill. I'm good at math, meaning I'm very strong at it. It's not true. I'm very, very bad, very bad at math. But I'm good at math, so it's something I succeed with. Next is excited about. You can always be excited about something. So, this is similar to looking forward to, but now the adjective. So I'm excited about the concert. I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. This one, be very careful. I usually hear mistakes with this one. We say rude to someone. So, the waiter was rude to me. They did not give me good service. Or, ooh, I think I was rude to the store attendant. I forgot to say thank you. So you're always rude to someone, or someone is rude to you. Tired of. This expression means I do not like this anymore. I see it too much. I don't want it. So maybe it's something in your work. I am tired of this responsibility. I don't want to do this job anymore. Or I am tired of sitting in my bedroom. Time to go outside. It's just you don't want it anymore, and it'll always be tired of something. And it can be tired of somebody if you want to be rude to them and say, I'm tired of you, go away. Next, close to. This is not talking about physical distance, but relationship. So I'm close to my mother. We have a very good relationship. She's my friend. That's the idea, close to. And then pleased with. I like it. I'm pleased with this work. I'm very happy with what I created, or I'm pleased with my dinner. It was very good. So just something that makes you happy. You are pleased with it, and always with. So that's another 10 examples of very common adjectives with their dependent prepositions. So like I said, unfortunately for this and the previous slide, it's all just about memorization here. So really just learn them together, say them a lot. I recommend maybe doing it kind of as a chant or a mantra. Afraid of, angry with, angry about, good for, good at, excited about. I just start saying them a lot and a lot because it's just about your brain making the connection that if I say good, I say at. If I say excited, I say about. If I say close, I say to. Just to always have them happen together. So then the final thing today is a bit of pronunciation. And so these are the phonetic symbols for the. We remember the article before, the definite article the. That's what we're going to talk about because it does have two different pronunciations. So this symbol is the TH sound, like those. It's this TH sound here, or the TH sound in the, just the th sound. This I is the E here in sheep. So we have, if we put it together, we have the. That is one pronunciation. The other symbol here is an sound, very neutral, normal sound, And so the other option is the. So we have the two pronunciations, the and the. And so let's look a bit at how you make this. So if you remember my last lesson, you will see the same face. All teachers use this diagram. this image to show pronunciation. And this is to show you the TH sound. So I'm focusing on this sound here. And this sound is very difficult because it is not common in English, or sorry, in other languages, but it is very common in English. And what happens is your tongue will actually go between your two teeth. And then you will be able to feel air move between your teeth. So it looks like this. You should be able to see your tongue between your teeth when you make this sound. And you should be able to blow and feel air move between them. You can do it for a long time because it's all about the movement of the air between your teeth. So we would say something like those. So say it with me. Those. Those. Your tongue comes between your teeth. If you look in my mouth, you will see it. Those. And so that is how the sound is made. So when does the vowel change? When is it E and when is it Because the is the same. So an example is the internet. Another example, the kitchen. Anyone can guess? Can anyone see the pattern? I think you can. It's very similar to a previous rule, like maybe a and an. And it's the same. So the same way that we have a for consonants and an for vowels, we have the for vowels and the for consonants. So the same idea. We use the vowel sound E if the noun following begins with a vowel sound. So we have internet, so the internet, or maybe the other day, or the end. All of those are vowel nouns that begin with a vowel, so we use the. On the other hand, if the noun begins with a consonant, we use the kitchen, the dog, the chair. And so there we'll use the sound. In very, very rapid speech, this is not the biggest issue. A and an is very important. This is not necessarily as important if it's not perfectly correct. But do begin to think that it's going to be the internet and the kitchen, the end, the chair, the other day, the train. So they do match that way. Same idea for a and. We can carry it to this article as well. Okay. Ooh, so that's everything for today. Lots and lots about articles. So I realize that it is a very complex topic. So do not worry if you do not feel totally confident with using articles correctly. It is a very complex part of the English language. My recommendation is to learn those common situations. For a, an, the, and no article, I wrote those common situations where it's true. So I recommend practicing those, using those, because those are where it is very important. And then from there, you can usually use a lot of common sense. Is it one? Is it a group? Have I said it before? To help work out which is the correct article. But those common situations are a good way to bring it into a smaller thing to learn that is easier to handle. So here's just a quick summary. A and is the indefinite article used with singular countable nouns. The is the definite article used with singular or plural nouns, doesn't matter. And then no article when we speak in general. We talk about meals, next, last, time expressions, work, and home as examples. Additionally, today we talked about dependent prepositions. Just remember, lots of memorization for those. So I do recommend downloading my slides so that you can have those 10 common dependent prepositions to help you memorize for your notes. And then finally, we talked about the difference between the and the for nouns that start with a vowel, and then the for nouns that start with a consonant. Okay. Well, so that was everything for today's intermediate lesson. So thank you very much for being here. I hope wherever you are that you continue to have a good day or good night. And I really hope to see you again in our future lessons so that you can continue with us and continue learning with us. So of course, if you have any questions now is the time to ask. I'm going to stay in the chat for a few minutes after this broadcast to stick around to answer any questions you might have because I realize it's a lot of information. So always remember I'll be here to help answer questions. Okay, so thank you very much, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.